Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a conversation with Brother Raymond. I'm your host. Today, we'll be doing part two of corrupt correctional officers. And as always, as I bring you, we got to give God his reference. So, for a minute, bow your head. Heavenly Father, we like to thank you for waking us up, live to see another day in our right frame of mind. Lord, we ask that you keep us from all hurt, harm, and danger. Protect us from anything and everything that's ungodly. And may we continue to bless you and walk in your name. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. Amen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. And welcome, welcome, welcome to a conversation with Brother Raymond. I'm your host, Brother Raymond. And as you already know, it's takeover weekend in Dallas, and that's where I'm at. I'm in Dallas live. Chicago Bears, Chicago stand up. We're here in Dallas, and we plan to take it over for the whole weekend. It's parties planned all weekend long, and of course, you know the big game is on Sunday. Happy birthday to anyone who's having a birthday, and our deepest condolence goes out to anyone who lost someone. And without further ado, let us bring in our guest, Miss Lorie.
Hey, hey.
Hey, there she go,
How
Lorie.
you doing,
Lorie.
Brother Raymond?
I'm great. I'm great. I hear that you are under the weather.
I'm a little under the weather. Thank God it's not COVID, but just got a little cold. I was traveling to Baltimore on Monday,
And
and I'm
we
on.
want to hear all about that trip because I know it's probably phenomenal, and we just praying for a speedy recovery. And before we get into this, tell us about the trip to Baltimore. Matter of fact.
Oh, so yeah, so I just went. I went. This okay. This is kind of This is probably one of the silliest things that I've done probably all year, maybe ever. So this, so I had to go to Baltimore to go to U.S. Customs because I work in international trade. I had to meet with them. I went with my director,
Okay.
and so I flew out of Midway. And so I had a friend of mine drop me off, and he's like, "Okay, I can pick you up when you come back." I'm like, "Okay, great." So went to Baltimore, had the meeting with Customs. It was a day trip, and this is actually probably only the second time that I've ever done a day trip. Usually it's overnight, but my flight left at 6:40 in the morning, and then my flight came back at 5 o'clock. So anyway,
Wow.
went there, handled the business, came back, and my friend, okay, my flight gets there at 5:30. So if you could pick me up, okay, great. So anyway, so I'm sitting there waiting and waiting, and he's like, "Well, I'm here and I'm driving around." I said, "Well, I'm at 5C at the arrivals."
Uh
And he's
huh.
driving. He's like, "There is no 5C." I mean, are you sure? So he's just driving. I'm like, "Ask somebody. It's 5C." Anyway, make a long story short, I'm sitting there talking to him. He's like, "Are you sure you're at Midway?" And I said, "Yes, of course I'm at Midway." There was a lady sitting next to me or standing next to me. She said, "Excuse me, you're actually at O'Hare." I'm like, "What?" Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, that was I don't know if you remember that TV show Three's Company, and there was a
Oh
character on
yeah.
there named Chrissy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have a
Yes.
friend that she wouldn't when people when they do silly things, she always says, "Okay, all right, Chrissy on Three's Company." So that was my Chrissy on Three's
That was your
Company.
Christy moment. Okay,
Yeah, so
man.
luckily my friend was gracious enough to say after he talked about me and said, "Okay, I'll come and get you at O'Hare."
Okay, that was great. That was
Yeah.
great. Glad that all worked out.
Yes, it all
Glad it
worked
all
out.
worked out. So when did you start coming down with the illness?
So I started feeling sick actually yesterday. I just had kind of like a little bit in the morning, kind of a little scratchy throat or whatever. But then as the day
Okay.
progressed, I just started feeling just like a train ran me over or something.
Oh,
I had a fever of like 102.
wow.
Yeah, so I said, well, let me take something, and I had, they gave you those home COVID tests, so I immediately took one of those, and that came back negative. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, I would go to the doctor, but I'm like, they're just gonna tell me take Tylenol, so that's pretty much what I did. I actually took some Theraflu, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, so I'm just kind of relaxing, and that's my plan for the weekend is just to kind of chill out. But
What?
I would not miss a conversation with Brother Raymond for the world. So here I am.
Yes, and I'm glad you was here in spite of it. And know if we had to, we would have rescheduled if it needed to be, but you said we can go forth, so I'm glad
Oh,
you're here.
absolutely. Yeah. Long,
So I
hey.
want to get back into it from last week. As
Yeah.
many of you may know or may not know, we're talking about the Florida correction officer paralyzed a man, then left him in solitary confinement, and this brother name was Craig Ridley, and he died after correction officers paralyzed him in a beating, then left him without medical care for days. And me and sis was here was talking about it, and so when we were talking last, we were talking about how, first of all, these corrupt correctional officers and the audacity that they would have to do this. And Katie Lowe just was so gracious to send me a picture, and now they have the picture of him in the wheelchair, but he can't sit up.
Oh my God.
And so it's so hardening to see this. So as let's get right back into it. So I just want to go back to this piece where it's talking about my neck is broke. So what do you, as a correction officer, when an inmate tells you that his neck is broke, you're supposed to seek medical attention immediately.
Absolutely.
So then he said he couldn't feel nothing. And the officer had the audacity to tell him, you BSing, you're just trying to get a lawsuit, and so on and so forth. And I just found it so disheartening that after, not only that, Lorie, but after the examiner, he actually got someone to examine him. Then the examiner told Ridley, they took him to solitary confinement, placing Ridley on the cell's toilet, as we talked about last week.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fell off, breaking his nose, right? And his own puddle of blood. But what's disheartening is,
and how could somebody be faking that? I mean, that should have been their indication that something was wrong with him, right? Like for real.
Exactly. Who would fake that they paralyzed? Right. I mean, who won't even play like that?
And that's
Nobody
something hard
wants
to
play
fake,
like
actually.
that.
Yeah.
And then the thing to say, for him to say there's nothing wrong with the man, and just took him back there when clearly, as the statement says, his limbs was limbo. So if his limbs was like just laying and hanging, that lets you know that something is definitely wrong with this man, and we need to get him the attention that he needs, right? And so it wasn't until after the inmates started making noise, like, hey, y'all need to do something. Then, and only then, did they take him to the doctor, where he was pronounced paralyzed. And later on, he died.
God, that's just disgraceful.
Wow.
Yeah. I just wonder, like, where is the oversight here? I mean, it just seems that there is no, like, the correctional officers, and I mean, with issues like this, a lot of them, there was a case that I saw. It was two former correctional officers charged with accepting bribes and smuggling contraband into federal prison. That was back in September of last year. I mean, why is it that they, because and it's clearly a problem, because I mean, I know of people that have been locked up and they get a hold to drugs. I mean, obviously the correctional officers they're part of that. So what provision is there to make sure that they are doing the right thing?
Well, I can say that the provision is there, but they like so many other, they become criminalistic themselves and thinking that, one, that they're above the law, and two, that they can get away with it. And then they started to smuggle drugs and phones and whatever else inside of these the Cook County jails and the penitentiaries. And they start this thing of where they're gonna get over and get rich quick scheme, and it never works. It never works. So in the end, they wind up getting caught, because what they fail to realize is the inmates talk as well. Right. And now you become a puppet to the inmate, because now the inmate has something on you. So now you have to continue to do the dirty work probably for less or for nothing, with them hanging that over your head that you'll lose your job and you can possibly go to jail. So there's
Wow.
that you don't win either way it goes. So I don't even know why would they even entertain that though.
Oh my goodness. And here's the other question that I want to know is what about just having more healthcare people like maybe have officers that have like a background in healthcare to ensure that, because if you have a background in that, you know if someone's faking or not.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to say. Credentials.
Mhm.
Credentials is great to have. They make us have credentials if we want jobs
Yep.
and things of that nature. Homeowner, you gotta have great credit and all that. So
Mhm.
I feel like these officers should have credentials behind them before they even hired. Therefore, we don't have to continue to repeatedly go through these cycles that we're going through. As we've seen at an all-time high, we've seen the young men, they doing rap videos in jail. They got cell phones and they taking pictures on Instagram and TikTok. How is this happening?
How is that? That is another question that I would like to know. I mean, that's become a thing,
Right, and
and
it's normal now. It's not
it's
even like
normal.
it's not even nothing hard no more. It's normal now. So either these correctional officers and these
Mhm.
wardens okaying this, or there's some illegal smuggling going on, and we have to get to the bottom of that, and we have to bring it aware to the people so that they know what's really going on. Because a lot of people, I know it ain't just me, it ain't just you, Lorie, wondering how in the heck is they getting they want videos, they got phones, how's they getting that in jail?
Right, and that's the thing. I don't know if you remember that show, Orange is the New Black. I don't know if you ever watched that. It was on Netflix.
I heard about it.
Yeah, and there was a segment on there, and there was a girl. It was a women's prison, and or based on a story. And there was a woman that she would go, I guess, go into the bathroom. They thought that she was possessed because she would be in there talking to someone named, I don't know if his name was the devil or Lucifer. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, come to find out, they thought she was talking to herself. She was talking on a cell phone. And so
Oh
she
wow.
had, so I guess someone had smuggled a cell phone in there. So, and that was the first time I had even heard about that. And then just talking to, to people that I know, and they're like, oh yeah, that's the people, they get cell phones all the time. They, the officers bring that in there. And I was just, I mean, I was kind of blown away. I didn't know that that was a thing.
Oh, it's a thing. It's a thing, and it's been going on for quite some time. And it's like no one has even pushed the issue
Mm-hmm.
to say, "Hey, something needs to be done about this."
Yep.
Because you have to remember, if I have a cell phone, incarcerated, I have the opportunity to intimidate witnesses, right?
Yep.
Families, right?
Mm-hmm.
And still work the streets. If I'm on the streets, if I'm plugged and I'm on the streets, I can still talk on the phone to my guys and let them know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And I'm just sitting here. They making sure I got money on my books. I'm getting visits. I'm getting phone calls. I'm
Wow.
getting mail. So
And they're not
all
even
I'm waiting to do,
monitoring any of that.
exactly. I'm just
Yeah.
serving my sentence out, and now once my sentence get up, I haven't even missed a beat.
Yep. It's business as usual.
So that's the thing, and it's sad, man. I think that it needs to be looked into in depth, because I just was seeing something on TikTok, and it had the young men's in jail, and they posing and they doing videos, and then they showed it one where they was fighting, and I'm saying, who is filming this? How are you
Mm-hmm.
filming fights breaking out in jails and in Cook County and correctional facilities like this? Who is doing this? I
And
need
there's
to
a
know.
way they can cut those cell phones signals too. There's
Oh
definitely a
yeah,
way to
they
do that.
can. Yes, they can. Yes, they
So
can.
the question is, why don't they do that? I mean, they might say, "Oh, okay, well, the guards, they need to have it." No, the guards should have radios.
And they do have
Yeah,
radios,
so
and
the
that's
two
what
way
they're
radio. So
supposed to be using.
yeah, so there's no reason they can either have two-way radio or they can have a landline if they need to go and make a call or whatever. To me, there is no reason to have a cell phone. So someone needs to look into that.
and they said that they falsified documents, and so it looks real bad. Of course it does.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime a person dies in custody, it always looks bad. And not only that, what does that say about the penal institution, which we already know it needs to be stripped down and rebuilt, but it's just studied adding to what we were already saying in the beginning, that
Right.
this needs to be reconstructed. It needs to be tore down and rebuilt from the top down, and that's from the warden and the assistant warden, the director, everybody. Everybody needs to be replaced, and they need to be properly trained on the job before they even get this job. Because at the end of the day, somebody said maybe the correctional officer stream the videos, and you could be right. You
That could
could
be
be
it
right.
too.
They could be doing it, and if
Yep.
that is, that's against the rules.
Yeah, and they've got to
It's
go.
still against the rules how they do it. So I think that it needs to be a reconstruction from the top down, and I think that everyone needs to have training. You just can't take your cousin Bob off the street and make him a correction officer because he lives in a town and he needs a job. He may not be fit for the job.
Yep.
So, and then what about racial prejudice? You see, all these things got to come into account before you can put someone or make them a correctional officer, because if not, then we're going to keep having this vicious cycle in jail, which is going on right now. And as we already know, it's nothing. It's virtually nothing. The warden don't do anything for the people. The counselors don't do anything for the people. And then most of the people, either they serve out their sentence and gratefully be released, or they die while they're incarcerated on something. Some of the stuff could be prevented.
Mm-hmm.
Proper medical care, proper diagnosis, right?
Yep.
You'll say I'm schizophrenic or I'm fighting you back. But if I don't have my meds and I am schizo, then I'm going to act out the way I'm supposed to act out. And you can't hold that against me. But yet still, if I'm incarcerated, then what do? They beat you down.
And
And then
I
they
feel
ask
like,
questions later.
and I think that there's probably a lot of undiagnosed mental illness that is going on, and to me, that is a powder keg, just waiting to explode. If you have people that are, they may have schizophrenia. I mean, they may have
Yes.
bipolar, anything
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
So where is the real health care? And that's, what, and here's the problem. They That's a problem on the inside, and it's a problem on the outside. Undiagnosed mental afflictions. I mean, we don't have enough health care on the outside for people.
Exactly. I'm with you 100%. We don't. And we don't talk about it. They don't address it. They just started to address it recently in a couple of years prior. But it's
Mm-hmm.
always been the tune that we've been preaching and letting people know that we need help. All of us need help.
Yep.
Any young black and brown woman or man grew up in the community, in the environments in which we grew up in, has a mental condition, has
Yep.
an illness. Whether
Yep.
people want to admit it or not, we have an illness. Now, the
Absolutely.
illness may not be as severe
Mm-hmm.
as others, but yet and still, we have an illness, and that's because it's not normal to see dead bodies.
Right.
It's not normal to see people shot up.
Yep.
It's not normal to see the police kill people. This is not normal.
Yep. And
And if
especially
we
at such young
inherit this,
ages too.
exactly, and we become traumatized. Like I said, the young lady, when she hears police sirens, she falls out because she don't know, she don't trust them. She's so afraid of the police that when she hears this, it just does something to her. So we all have been touched on this channel of mental illness in a capacity of growing up in the black and brown communities and poverty-stricken communities, right?
Yep.
Single parent homes, foster care, and we ain't gonna talk
Absolutely.
about the abuse, that plays a mental on you. So anybody try to get close to you, you push them away because you got this radar up and saying ain't nobody gonna hurt you no more. You're not gonna let nobody hurt you no more. So in order for me not to let nobody hurt me, I don't let Lorie get close to me. And Lorie's only trying to help me, but I'm so messed up and don't nobody know this, and I don't know how to express it or explain what's wrong with me. So then nobody really knows what's going on with me. So it's like a standstill.
Yeah.
So everybody's at a standstill, and I'm not getting the proper help that I am, and I'm not allowing people to give me the help that I need.
Absolutely. So here's a question. This is kind of something totally off topic, but just want to know what you think. So they had this a haunted prison, the old Joliet haunted prison. How do you feel about them having a haunted prison? It's like for like Halloween or whatever.
It's for tourists. It's a money making scheme.
Right.
That's
I
all.
don't know how that sits with me.
But I'm just saying, this is what it comes to.
Right.
They'll make money off anything possible. It just lets you know even further how the extent that they'll go to make money in the penal institution. Yeah. They just gave you a perfect example. Come and tour, all tour guides come and tour the haunted house, the correctional facility, what it used to be Joliet, and they probably taking them on here. These many people was here. This notorious person was there. Such and such had died. You don't know what they're saying,
right? But what they doing. This one though is they're actually having people. They're dressed up as, I guess, maybe prisoners from that are kind of like ghosts or whatever. I don't know. I'm just thinking like that kind of cheapens the whole thing. We know that. I don't know. I don't like it.
But it lets you know, Lorie, how serious they take it.
they don't take it very seriously.
Exactly. They just let you know right then and there how serious they take it. They say, well, hell, it's just sitting here. We got to make some money off of it. We can't just let it sit here. Now, it's not a tourist where they done went from now make it a Halloween thing, and then it'll be a theme on every time they come up with something, they'll make a theme of it, and they'll have people come and they'll make money off of it. So that's what I'm saying. This is how less important the penal system is to them as well as it is for us.
Yeah, it's almost like they're kind of making fun of instead of taking, and especially if it's you have people in there that their characters are dressed up and they're acting like they're have a mental illness, and it just goes back to what we were talking about of people that really do have mental illness. I mean, it's almost like
they mocking us, right? Whew. Excuse me, y'all. I had a long ride, but it's like they're mocking us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Like, they locked up because you see, 95% of the population is black and brown. It's nothing white, maybe 5% if it's even that.
Yep.
So who are they mocking? They mocking us.
Yep, making a complete mockery of it. And until it's taken seriously, it's things they're just gonna get worse.
Right. And so here we go with this vicious cycle. And then Brother Craig Ridley, he died at the hands of some correctional officers who wasn't properly trained and was misdiagnosed. So his family should be suing not only the system, I'll be suing the doctor too and that hospital.
Yep. They should have a nice little lawsuit.
Yeah, they should have.
But it's not going to bring their loved one back.
When it comes to that, because that's ridiculous. There is no way that a person should be treated so cruelly. I don't even like when animals is done like that. So my heart goes out to him, knowing that he's a fellow inmate. And granted, he was served his time. He was doing his time. He was halfway through his sentence. Now, whatever altercation that they got in, it wasn't that serious. And it goes to show you some racism in that too. Because if any way you take somebody by the head and slam them to the ground by force like that to shatter his membrane, his vertical in his neck, goes to show you the lack of care as well. So that's another piece we have to look at as well.
Yep. And I didn't realize it says he was an electrical engineer and what else? And a army veteran.
Yeah, yeah. Got caught a
Mm.
case. Anybody can, it happens.
Right.
But for you to take it upon yourself to discipline, thinking this is the discipline he needs. Now instead of putting him in solitary confinement, which he could have did for disobeying whatever rule or whatever happened, no, he first called himself punishing him, or as they say, we're going to teach them a lesson. Because I've heard many officers say that. Teach
Oh my
that,
God.
and the N word. They use the N word. We're going to teach that N word a lesson.
Oh my
And
goodness.
this is what they do. And then they talk about it and they brag about it. As I tell them, they could have been at the bar later on. Yeah, I had an inmate and I had to pop his, and he faked like he was hurting, and we didn't think it was nothing wrong with him. But come to find out all the time, it was something wrong with this young man. He was paralyzed and he died a month later. So he died as a cause of the injuries that was inflicted by this officer. Now that officer should have been fired and he should have been charged with murder.
Oh my God. And so what happened then? They let him go. The officer.
I
They
don't
didn't
know if
charge
they
him.
let him go, but I want to follow up on it as well, because as I'm reading this, I'm not seeing evidence falsifying documents, and the man died. It looks mighty bad. Ridley's death is a part of a larger pattern of behavior by guards in the Florida prisons. Now, not just here, this is in the Florida prisons, period. In 2018, inmate Cheryl Weimer was paralyzed from the neck down after prison guards beat her nearly to death. In 2020, a Florida corrections officer brutally beat handcuffed inmate Christopher Howe, breaking his neck and killing him.
Oh my goodness. So they
This
so
was
so
an
they have a
inhumane death.
problem.
This is what I'm saying. So this
Yeah.
is a repeated problem. This
Mm-hmm.
started in 2018. So this is what a racism is, and this is where it gets so disheartening, that because they're telling you right here that they don't care about us, because it started in 2018 and it's going on in 2022.
Oh my God. And here's what it's saying. It says, yet with all that, the FDLE decided not to file charges against anyone. The only consequences anyone faced were policy violations. One officer got a 8.5 hour suspension for not reporting that Ridley wasn't eating. What about all the other officers over 5 days who didn't
So
report it?
the grace, good God for family. So the sister stepped in, and now she has a civil lawsuit against all of them. So everybody's going to pay the price for this, because, and then that's another thing that can add to the lawsuit. You didn't even punish these people properly.
Yeah.
So
But see, here's
who
the
is in
thing though.
charge?
That's civil though. I mean, yeah, they'll get paid by the prison. I want those guards to do some
No,
time.
I want them too, but I'm trying to see. So I guess what my question is how do we get them to stand trial and be held accountable, because it's
Mm-hmm.
happening too much. Come on now.
Yep.
Everybody in Florida, I know y'all some racist people, but everybody in Florida can't be that racist to where you can't say, because that can be their child
Yep.
or they loved one in there. It can happen to any one of them. Because if it's just happening, it's happening. They're not saying they all black, but we can kind of figure 9 times out of 10 that it probably is. And if it's not, they'll call them poor white trash, as they do.
Yep. And then they've
But
already
still,
demonstrated that people can have cell phones. So why not set up cameras? I mean, to me, that should be like the most surveilled place on earth. They need to be watching everyone like a hawk. I mean, except for in the bathroom.
and see, because let me go back. So now, another thing I was looking at, I don't know if you've seen it, really died in 2017.
Yeah, that was a while ago. It's just now coming to light.
And it's coming to light. And then 2018, and then 2020, all the way up to now. Come on. So what we're saying, this is a repeated pattern.
Yep. And then I
That
don't understand. It says here that the death was ruled a homicide. It says when Craig Ridley was taken to the hospital, he had to be intubated. He died a month later from his injuries. A medical examiner also ruled his death a homicide, listing the cause of death as blunt impact and a major spinal cord injury. He also had paralysis on all four limbs, listed as complications of quadriplegia. So, I mean, if they ruled it a homicide, who's going to pay the price?
exactly. That's the question. And see, this is what I was talking about with his family and his whoever lawyer, family lawyer. He should be pursuing this to a degree of to where everyone should be held. I'm talking about fully accountable from
Yeah.
the warden all the way down.
Yep.
The hospital, the doctor who treated the man and told the people was nothing wrong with him, from the officer talking about you're bullshitting, you're just trying to get a lawsuit. Come on, man. Everybody should be charged in this.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? Obviously, the family doesn't have any money because someone, whoever's going to take this on, I mean, they're going to have to be able to pay lawyers because this that's a huge case,
But
right?
after this type of case, a lawyer can come on because he knowing he'll get paid. He ain't gonna get paid right away, but he'll
Mm-hmm.
definitely get paid from this. This is
Right.
something he can get paid from
Right.
because it's so severe and it's an open shut case. Somebody has to pay. Either the racist state of Florida,
Mm-hmm.
that'll be one person, the system be another, and then I would charge each individually.
Mm-hmm.
The hospital, the officers, each officer that was involved, I would charge them as well. So now I'll have like 4, 5, 6, 7 people in this lawsuit that I'm suing.
Yep.
You know, because it's
Absolutely.
ridiculous. That was just ridiculous. Then they said 2018 happened again. Then in 2020 happened again. So this is, and we know that Florida is a racist state. Everybody
Yeah.
know that.
And I don't
From
know if people want
Trayvon
to move
Martin,
down there. I would never want to live in Florida.
from Trayvon Martin,
Yep.
everybody knows. These people are systematically trained against black and brown people. They just don't like black and brown people. And they'll say, well, that's not true, Raymond. Well, okay, the 1% that pretends that they do, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the other 99% who blatantly says it and carries it on their sleeve and on their shoulders. And as they walk around, you can see how they treat us. So that's what I'm talking about. So it's sad all the way around, and you're right. I don't know who want to live down there. But I mean, granted that we have to, it's some people that live down there. I think they need to be more informed on how the system works as opposed to just moving down there, because you can
Yeah.
move down there and get a speeding ticket, or he might be in a bad mood
Yep.
and kill you.
Yep.
Come on. So, and then they can get away with it. It's called stand their ground.
Stand your
I
ground. I
stood
was
my
just gonna say
ground.
that.
I felt as
Mm-hmm.
if he was gonna do no, and there go the case, just like the Trayvon Martin case. So, I don't agree with this at all, and I think this is so egregious that it needs to be addressed in such a manner. I think this needs to go to the Supreme Court, and they need to rule on this. Not only rule on this, they need to change the way that the system is. This system is so flawed, and we see this. Not even in Florida, we talking about all over.
All over.
Not
Absolutely.
just Florida, it's
Yep.
flawed all over. This is just the accounts and the lengths that they will go to in order to show you that, hey, it don't mean nothing to me. I'll do what I want to do, and ain't nobody gonna do nothing. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing.
Yep.
And this is how they feeling, like they
When you
can't
have
be
all the
touched.
power, that's the thing. It's like they're holding all the power. So, it's they it's like they dare you to, even,
Exactly,
try to fix it.
exactly. And this is the problem. This is the problem, and until we get this thing addressed and brought in front of them, see, that's the power of voting, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You want my vote. Okay, I want something from you. You know, if I put you in a governor, mayor, whatever position that you're going for, I want this in writing. And if you don't do this, then I'll have this in writing so that we can show the people that you're flawed. And then just the way we got you in there, we can get you
We'll
out
get
of
you out.
there.
But here's the problem though. A lot of the youth, and I'm gonna say people, I don't know, under 40, I get a feeling like they don't care, or they don't I mean, as far as voting, and they don't really vote in large numbers. I mean, they're not utilizing the system the way that it's meant to be. They just kind of let things happen.
Yeah, they are, and because they're not fully taught,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't fully understand the system. And we have to have patience with our youth right now
Yep.
because they've been lied to everywhere they turn. They feel like nobody cares, so they say we care about us, so we're gonna do what we do, right?
Mm-hmm.
We ain't worried about the system. We're gonna lead the system. But what they don't know is the system is the one that's against them.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
not us, it's the
Mm-hmm.
system.
Yep.
But the system is made to look like we're against them. That's why they say, oh, listen, we made them where they can't touch you. We made the teachers can't hurt you. But
Mm-hmm.
they ain't do nothing but made it to where you can hurt yourself. And this is what we have to teach our youth.
Yep.
They opened the door for you to hurt yourself. That's why so many black on black young crimes,
Mm-hmm.
suicides, and assaults.
Yep.
Because y'all angry, y'all frustrated, y'all don't know where to take the frustrations out on. So you create chaos and havoc, which
Mm-hmm.
these people already know that you're gonna do.
Yep. And that gets
So
back
we
to
have to
mental
let
health.
right and we
Mm-hmm.
have to let them know that.
Yep.
No, no, we're not against you.
And
We're
here's
not
the other
gonna we're
thing.
not gonna co-sign your bullshit,
Right.
but we're not against you. We want to act. In fact, we want to teach you about this system so that you'll be more prepared when you have to go up against it. Because half of the young men go up against the system, they getting football numbers, 50 and 60 years. Some getting life in 25 years. So if they're getting all that time, only, check this out, only to go into the system and learn the system from the inside and then give that time all back. And then some of them are granted freedom and some of them are granted reduced sentence. But had they known this from the start, maybe they wouldn't have went in there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that we have to teach them as well.
Yep.
But to see this pattern going on here in Florida and all around the country, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's out of
It,
control, is what it is.
yeah, Illinois.
Completely. And we're not even supposedly a red state, but I don't. I argue that. I think that Chicago is not a red city.
Racism is racism.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't care what state, what is
Mm.
red, blue, purple, green.
Yep. That's true.
The people do not care about the inmates.
Yep.
Anytime you can house over 1,800 people and you know that there's mold there, you know it's running water, it's leaking water, it's cold in there, it's insects biting them, they don't know where it's coming from them, they ask y'all to go to the infirmary, y'all don't want them to go to the infirmary, and when they do go to the infirmary, you give them an aspirin and
Oh
wipe them
my
off with
God.
some alcohol. That's not dealing with nothing. I don't even know what
Mm.
bit me.
Damn. Cause I remember back in, was it like 2012? I think the bed bug kind of epidemic, 2010 maybe.
Yeah, that broke out. And then look at the COVID broke out. Ain't nobody talking about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and many inmates died from that too.
Exactly.
But then I think they started letting people out off with the GPS
That's
monitors.
the cover up. See, that's what they
Yeah.
call the overlay for underplay. They
Yeah.
let out so many to show that we're trying to do something, but it's so many that died that we don't even hear about. We
But
don't
then
even know.
that created another problem though, people not coming back too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's it's so flawed, this system to whereas that we need to it's an overhaul. It needs an overhaul. The system needs
Mm-hmm.
an overhaul. The justice system, period, needs an overhaul. We're not just talking about the penitentiaries. We're talking about from the officers to the lawyers to the state prosecutors, everybody,
Yep.
because something is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, either
Absolutely.
somebody's getting paid, which we already know crime is a business and death is a business and black death is a hustle. That's the
Mm-hmm.
new hustle, and people need to be aware of that. And this is what we need to be preaching to our children. They hustling off you, man.
Yep.
And they getting free kills off y'all. While y'all talking about the ops and you going against your fellow brother, man, and woman, these people they are zeroing in on you.
Yep. It's like, what is it?
You the op to them.
They're playing checkers and these people are playing chess.
Exactly.
And that's what
Because if
the
I
thing they
can
don't
pull up
realize.
on you, Lorie, and say, okay, I'm gonna go get Lorie. Okay, now I go get Lorie, right? Or Lorie come and get me. That's two. That's what we call 2-for-1,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm dead. You're locked up for the rest of your life. So they done got two black and brown people off the streets.
Yep.
And this is their mission. And then with the
Mm-hmm.
addition, oh, my neck is itching. And with the addition of them killing us, it's like, wow.
Yep.
And then let's look at how suicide has crept up in. Now, suicide is taking this height too. And they're not only taking this height in us killing ourselves, but the officers have been killing themselves. They've been committing suicide at all time high now.
Oh,
So,
wow. Oh, yeah, that is true.
there's definitely something going on there. So that's
Mm-hmm.
something else we're going to be looking into because listen, I don't know if anybody wakes up and say, I'm going to commit a crime. I'm going to kill somebody. These are learned behaviors,
Yeah.
as time go by, right? These are mental health issues as well. And these are things that we don't talk about. We just don't talk about these things. And it's hurting us. It's not helping us, brothers and sisters. This is hurting us.
Yep.
If something going on with you, please talk about it. Don't be afraid. Because it just might kill you not to. If you
Yep.
look at what's going on today.
I'm wondering where like conflict resolution would fit in, if that's something that would be, or would it be worth trying? Because it seems like it's, when someone has a beef with someone, or it's like especially the
Yeah.
younger kids on Facebook or Snapchat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering if someone is upset, maybe, because I think they do have some outreach
It is
professionals that
conflict
do that.
resolution. And Brother T.O. Hardeman was a great, when he was with Ceasefire,
Mm-hmm.
he was exceptional at this.
Mm-hmm.
And he helped teach me and so many others how to resolve issues, right? When it's a conflict, how to de-escalate the situation, right?
Yep.
And so they don't want that. Of course they don't. If I got a group of young men on 58 beefing with a group of 50 men on 57, and it's a possibility that 5 or 6 of them are going to kill each other. And then there's another possibility that 4 or 5 of them are going to go to jail for the rest of their life. Now it's a win-win situation.
Wow.
And this is what I talk about on the business part of this.
Right.
It's a business. Death is a business. Black death is a hustle. T.O.
Mm-hmm.
Hardeman been saying that for years and years. And people looking at him like he was crazy. Oh, he don't know what he's talking about. Well, it's evident.
Yeah.
If I can get killed for some Skittles and an iced tea, and nobody goes to jail for that. And in Mike Brown case, I'm selling a store man weed. They owe me. I come back to pick up my money. They don't have my money, and so they're gonna use that as I'm harassing them or I'm taking something out the store and call the police. The
Mm-hmm.
police kills me. Not only does he kill me, he stalks my body like I am an animal. He's walking around my body and telling people to get back. If you look at the video, you will see. If you look at the documentary, you'll see it.
Oh my God, that's just disgusting.
Right. Fidel Castro pull up in his car. Tell him I'm carrying concealed. Obliging with them, letting them know, hey, I got carry a concealed license. I can carry this. They give it to him in the car in front of his wife and his children.
Oh my God.
So this is what we're talking about when we talk. This stuff is going this is unheard of.
Yep.
And this is what we're talking about right now. When these things can happen, it's racially profiled.
Yep. Because if it were all white people, I mean, yeah, maybe it would happen, but not to the magnitude. Because I mean, we started out as, them considering us as chattels, like we were animals anyway in slavery. So very little of that has changed, especially when it comes to the penal system.
Yeah, and if you look at it, it has happened. What about
Yeah.
the white boy went and killed all the 8 people in church?
Right.
They took him
Exactly.
to McDonald's or Burger King and bought him some meat.
Mm-hmm.
What about the young man just opened up in what was that in the suburbs there in Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't kill him. At Arlington Heights, they didn't kill him, and he took him on a chase.
Mm-hmm.
See, so it's so many forms of when the white people do it, when whites does it versus black, and black ain't even did nothing.
Yep.
Not with no guns. These people going to do mass shootings and get treated to Burger King. Trayvon Martin went in and got some Skittles and an iced tea, and he had a hoodie on, and he looked suspicious, and this mob took upon himself to stalk this young boy, talking about he was trying to protect the community, and killed this young man, and basically got away with it. And it's been happening repeatedly.
Oh my goodness.
Because when they come to find out the truth about Mike Brown, right? Tamir Rice was playing with a gun, and there was so many white boys that was playing with guns too.
Yep.
Right down the street. Ain't nobody
It's like a
get
double
called for
standard.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So all these murders is going uncontested. Nobody is doing anything about this. And then you wonder why our children are so rebellious towards. That's why they say F12. They don't trust them. They don't trust the system. So we have to get them in enough so that they can at least vote to keep these people from getting in office. Or if they're in office, we got to get them out the office. We have to educate our youth on that, the power of that.
Yeah.
And then
there needs to be some kind of programs in school too for that, because I mean, there's so many things that they don't teach in school. And to me, that should be, I mean, I know that they have social studies, but they really need to go deeply. I mean, not necessarily, leading anyone in any direction politically, but just how the system works, and do a deep dive, and maybe even have it where they vote and they do I don't know, there just needs to be something done with that.
Yes, it does. And I'm in agreement with you. But at the same time, we have to be more enforceful. Like, they fought tooth and nail not to put Black history. Black history is not a subject. What do you mean Black history is not a subject?
Mm-hmm.
That's a place and time in history where our young Black and brown boys and girls can find out how their ancestors built this joint, invented a lot of the stuff that they took credit for, how they was enslaved for no reason at all, because they talk about being lazy. If we're so lazy, then why did y'all come and get us to build y'all land?
Right,
why y'all
exactly.
didn't build y'all own damn
We just
land?
got tired of working for free.
So that's it, So, and I think that it opens a lot of doors to what's really going on. And then we just have to stand up a little bit more, even as parents, even as activists, even as teachers, influencers, whatever you want to call us. We have to get more involved. It's got to get more in depth, because right now, voting is so serious that if we don't do it, man, we're going to lose all the way around. And it's just going to be a revolutionary war, which is already going on now, that we don't even recognize is happening.
Oh, and you heard about today, Nancy Pelosi's husband was brutally attacked in their San Francisco home, and the attacker was saying, "Where's Nancy?" or "Is Nancy here?" So this is the kind of climate that we're dealing with politically.
And this is what I'm saying, that they can get to that much balls that when
Yeah.
they stormed the White House. So
Yep.
these people have no chill.
Nope, they sure don't.
They don't have no chill. So we got to get some law and order back in
Yep.
here, but we got to make sure we got law and order for our people as well.
Yep. We
And
better
so
wake up.
the power of education is one thing. Like when, you know, as they talk about the history, they say King was assassinated. But let's talk about the real story about
Right.
Dr. King. What really happened to him.
So
He was shot on the balcony, but he didn't die. He died in the damn operating room where these racist people spit on him and put the pillow over him and suffocated him. They're not telling us that.
So here's the thing. I'm kind of radical. I don't even think that we should have quote unquote Black history. I think it should be American history, because we are so integral into the development of this country and the building of the country. I mean, they need to be talking about our issues all along, because we were there every step of the way with what happened. So why, relegate us to 1 month of the year? No, we need to be talking about it every day.
And I'm with you on that, but this is why Black history is needs to be told. So because it is the American history. Because without Black history, there wouldn't be no America.
Absolutely.
Without Black history, there wouldn't be no China. See, all these things, they don't understand that we are the inventors and we created everything on this universe. We had a hand in creating, and we had the patterning in order to teach them going forward. They took it and they profited off of it, and we're suffering. No, the ancestors created it, and us as their children, we're suffering because we're not getting the benefits in which our ancestors had laid the groundwork. You're talking about generational wealth. Hell, with the Smith brothers who created the, come on, with the steel. Come on, man, they need to quit playing with us. And so that is right. And we need to get more radical. Because the more conservative we get, the further back we're being pushed.
Because here's something interesting that I've noticed, that I'm around a lot of Hispanics, and this is just something that you'll hear in passing. They'll call someone American, right? And when they say American, they're talking about white people, not Black people.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. We have got to stop othering ourselves, because hell, if anyone's American, we sure as hell are, because we built this country.
And that's what I'm saying. And to that point, I'm with you on that. But in the same breath and token, I'm saying that Black American history, I can go with that. Let's talk about the Black American history. And you're going to talk about some history? Let's talk about that. Because it's so crazy how people don't understand, or people don't even want to believe that our people created and built this land on free labor. Oh,
which is outrageous.
Like, you got Kanye talking about it was by choice. What the hell? Choice?
Oh my God. Kanye is once again.
Now, what Kanye is off the mark on that one. He's not off the mark on what he's saying about them Jewish people, right?
Yeah, but
he's not off the mark.
But he can't go around saying that stuff, though.
But they can go around saying what they want to say about us. We had we went through the most tragic than anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
Still going through it to this day.
Right.
And we haven't reaped one dime off this.
Right.
But the Jews get reparations, and not only reparations, they get the power, and they use it, and they got the stranglehold on everything. So if you say anything about them, you're being scrutinized and ostracized to where it's the truth. It's not like he's saying nothing that dumb people don't already know. He's just saying something that people are afraid to say. And it goes back to NWA. They just thinking it, but they're not saying it.
Right.
And they said it. NWA said it, and they brought it to light, And once they brought it to light, people started to be like, hmm. But everybody knows what's going on right now. It's not a secret.
Mm. Well, all I know is he just screwed himself out of billions of dollars.
Well, that is true. But guess what? You know, you got to take a loss if you believe in what you stand in. If you stand for what you believe in, it's gonna cost you.
Right, that's true.
It cost Martin, Malcolm, and all the rest of our leaders their lives.
Right.
It cost Kanye a few $1,000,000, a few $1 billion. Okay, but at the end of the day, let us reflect on righteousness. Because now we're looking at this, because they're going to take this away from us. They're going to take that away from you. They can't take none away from you. God is the ruler.
Right.
And so we get out of that because we start looking at man. We start looking at what man made. God is the ruler over everything.
Right. That's true.
And so once we get out of that and get into man, then yeah, man will destroy you. But if you're looking at for godly, then man can't touch you because your riches it's already endowed in you. They can't take that away from you. I don't have to rock with you. So my difference of opinion causes you to strip me of for what I believe, but I can't strip you of what you believe.
Well, but here's the thing though with Kanye. I mean, we could talk about the substance of what he said, but let's leave that aside. The fact that if he's okay, so Jewish people, like black people, are a protected group, right? So if they don't,
Supposedly.
right, if they don't like what he said and they feel offended, I mean, they have every right to say, hey, I'm not dealing with you. Here's the issue with black people: we need to do more of that. How many times have people said stuff about us and then like
There you
knuckleheads,
go.
we still continue to work to deal and work with
Exactly.
them.
And
So
they get smacks on the wrist. But
right,
then when we say something, we get everything took from us. Like that the NBA coach. He had sex with one of the staff. They kicked him out for the whole year.
right.
How many of them been doing that for how long? And it's been brought to the light. But it's just because of the fact of his color. See what I'm saying? And we don't say nothing. Oh, okay. And we just accept anything. We accept anything that they give us. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, we accept it. Don't worry
But
about
that's
it.
what
It'll be
we need to
better.
be the arbiter in our own interest and say, hey, we're not going to deal with that. But see, as black people, we're always so forgiving and oh, it's
Yes,
okay.
yes.
That's to our detriment, in my
And that's
opinion.
what I'm saying. That's
Yeah,
exactly what I'm saying right now.
yeah.
We shouldn't be standing with Kanye. No, you can't take all this stuff from him because he made that's his opinion.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, that's fine. They could take it away because that's what they want to do. But
Okay, and that's good. But he had also foreseen that too. He said something about that too. He
right.
had prophesied on this before it happened now. That people have to go back when he was telling people, I'm gonna lose this and I'm gonna lose that because of my beliefs and what I stand for.
No, he
So
losing
don't
stuff
be
because he's
surprised.
crazy.
He said, don't be surprised and don't be shocked. And
Yeah,
now
but
everybody like, man, he a fool. He can't be a fool if he prophesied just because he's seen it coming.
yeah, I don't think he profit. He's Kanye has undiagnosed. Well, hey, no, he has diagnosed mental health conditions. He's
Okay,
bipolar and he's not taking his medication.
exactly.
And he says stuff that puts him. There's certain things that you say and that you don't say. And he
Okay, half of the country do that.
right, but here
We
and then
all bipolar, and we all got some mental illnesses that we are not addressed, and it ain't been fully addressed because you have people say a lot of stuff, even on TV,
but
even these scholars, even these preachers and
right, but
doctors and lawyers. So why is it so special when Kanye says it? Oh, Lord have mercy. He's
because
no, he's
he has
no
a very
different
big
than
platform. That's why,
that.
and his influence.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's the platform,
Yeah,
right? But as it going, and you start to look at stuff, he said, "Man, let's build our own. Let's tear away. And if you do that, then there's the power."
yeah, but then he's associating himself with what's her name? Candace. Oh, I forgot the woman's name, but black right winger.
Yeah, I mean, and he contradicted himself a lot We already know that, because here's another scenario. When he said white lives matter, they was all with him. When nobody against him, didn't nobody stand up. I ain't hear nobody say, "Hey, you're wrong for saying that," but the black people.
Yeah.
But as soon as he said something about them Jews, oh my God, this company don't want to deal with that company don't want to deal with. Y'all didn't want to deal with him in the beginning, but he had already foreseen that. This is what I'm trying to get people to understand, because I've been having this conversation. No, he had already seen that.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew at some point in time, it was going to be a time we had to cut ties with him anyway. I remember he said Gap was like his second girlfriend or some of that nature. So he sent us subliminal shots as well. He wasn't told, he ain't as dumb and crazy as people say he is. Now, he does suffer from mental health issues, which we all do. We all do. So what makes his health issue different than our health issue is he has a lot of money to go behind it. He has a platform.
His platform and his influence. So it's not even just the money.
But guess what? That's what always been the biggest threat to them.
All right.
Platform and influence, right?
But I'm talking about, forget about what I'm talking about, even with black people. I mean, he's influential for us as well. And then you have like young black kids listen to the stuff that he said. I mean, he's gone completely bonkers.
He has went bonkers in some aspects, but in everything there's some truth in it. It's some truth in everything that's being said. Just like if you look, okay, so nobody is talking about the atrocities that J. Edgar Hoover inflicted on black people, inflicted on America, for that matter, because he did everybody. He did the presidents, he did the secretary, he did the governors, he did everybody in Congress. He was wiretapping everybody, and he was a homosexual. Right. Nobody held that against him, though, because he was what? He was white.
Yeah.
And see, this is what I'm saying. So they said it's okay for them to do it.
But had it been modern day, we give you another example. What's that guy's name? Harvey Weinfeld?
Harvey Weinstein.
Weinstein, yeah. So he's Jewish, but he's also white. But he suffered a huge blow in what he did, because this is modern day. Back then, with Hoover.
How much time Harvey got?
Whole different, I don't know.
Okay. How much time did you hear about R. Kelly getting? He getting 30 years over here. They get him 20 years over here. They get him 30. See, this is what I'm saying. That's what they gain. You ain't heard nothing else about Harvey. You ain't heard nothing else about these other people. But R. Kelly name stays in the public. Why? It's the defamation of character. And this is what they want to do. And this is how they attack the black and brown communities for defamating our character and assassinating as well.
So Harvey,
they're doing.
To answer
we're not saying that Kelly was innocent, right? But he's not guilty to the point of having life in prison.
Right.
When
so
people
Harvey Weinstein, he got 23 years in prison.
23 years. Okay. Now, this happened repeatedly too. And
but it depends on how many cases, though, they had.
Girls in it. But that's what I'm saying. It's all because of the color of the skin. And you never heard of him anymore. You don't know. We don't even know if Harvey Weinstein at home or not. We don't know where the hell he at. But we know where R. Kelly at, don't
we? Yeah, well, I mean, he's in jail.
In jail, right. You don't know where Harvey. You ain't heard
Harvey's in jail too.
That's what they told us.
Yeah.
That's what they told us.
Well, I mean, we could say that for R. Kelly too.
Show me I haven't seen a picture of him in jail. I haven't seen a picture of him. Have you seen a picture of him in jail?
Yeah, let me see if I can find one.
Well, pull one up and show me if you've seen one of them in jail. And then to come to the fact of the matter, is he still there? We know R. Kelly's still there.
Let's see.
And how much flavor, he's getting than R. Kelly. R. Kelly, they both should be getting the same treatment. If they up for this is basically up for the same thing. And then he did it in this. At least R. Kelly was doing it, and it was consensual. Not talking about that.
A 14-year-old can't consent to sex with an adult man.
Their parents can, and that's what their parents was doing.
No, but that child can't though. That's illegal.
But this is what I'm saying. The parents signed off on that.
Yeah,
The
but
parents was
still.
bringing them to them,
Okay,
and when it
but
all
guess
broke
what though?
down, you know what it all came down to? Kelly royalty. See, everything's come down to that paper game.
Right, but here's the thing though. You still a child cannot consent. I don't care if the parents did it or not. Parents they're guilty of,
So okay,
helping
then this
this
is what I'm saying.
happen.
So they
But
should
R.
be
Kelly is still
incarcerated as
guilty.
well.
Yeah, but R. Kelly should not have been. I mean, he
He shouldn't
raped
have been
a
so
child.
dumb as to do it, but at the same time, they should be convicted as well of
Yeah, well, I agree.
conspiring
The parents
to
they have
have
some
sex,
culpability.
a minor having sex with an adult. So these are things I'm just giving you analogies. And Harvey Weinstein, he got 23 years, but you haven't heard anything about it. So I'm saying Harvey Weinstein can be sitting back smoking a cigar, drinking champagne, and we don't even know. But we definitely know where R. Kelly is because they
Yeah,
keep
no,
publicizing it.
he's in there. He's in jail.
Yeah. Or he could be in uh what you call it, a boot camp.
Let's see. Shortly deliver experienced chest. He's having some chest pains. He was taken to Bellevue Hospital. Let's see when was that? He had some kind of health issue back in February.
Mm,
That was 2020 though.
right.
But let's see, where is he at now? New York's Metro. He's at New York's Metropolitan Correctional Center.
And they want us to believe that. I cannot believe that. But anyway,
And here, well,
I'm just giving out analogies here so that we can start to look a little more in depth of what's going on with our people and how they treating us. And I think this was a great and enlightening show that these people need to understand more about, and hopefully we can get the young people to vote. Because I mean that's gonna be the end of it at the end of the day. If they don't vote, we're gonna be pop. In other words,
yep,
we're gonna be pop. And we both
absolutely,
agree on that. If we can't agree on nothing else, we can agree on that. Now,
that's for
I'm
sure.
saying I'm not condoning what R. Kelly did, but for to have a parent bring their child to a grown man to say, "Do as you will" for a price,
Well, of course, that's sick.
right? And they
Yeah,
should be incarcerated as
yeah.
well. That
I don't
was
know
my
why
whole
they didn't.
thing.
And who knows? Maybe that'll be the next trial that comes up because I fully agree with that.
Because
Happy
that has to
Friday,
happen.
everybody. I hate to cut in. Y'all
Uh
know y'all having a good time.
oh.
Yeah, I hate. Listen, I hate to have to do this, but I have a I have a conference call,
Oh yes, damn. I
and I
forgot.
must be on this call. You know the
Yeah.
show is an hour long. You know it's Friday. Lori, I'm so sorry you don't feel good because girl, if you felt better, I would come back with my tequila bottle.
Ah. Woohoo.
It
Hey,
So
would be
that
a
next.
it would be an early Halloween.
Okay. Hey, next
But
week. Next week.
listen, I want you to get well, girl. Take you some herbs, drink you some teas, baby. Get you some bourbon and a raw egg and some honey, and
Ooh.
tell that cold to go west.
All right. I'm gonna do that.
Brother Raymond,
yes.
I know you're down there in Dallas. I can't say the word because I can murder some words.
Ah.
But I know it's Takeover Friday. I want you to take over that. Ooh, almost said it. Take it over like it has never been taken before.
Yeah.
I want to give
We,
a shout out to my friends at Martha's Helping Hands. Hey, sow a seed for humanity. Sow a seed at Martha's Helping Hands. They are advocates for the homeless by any means necessary. Sow a seed at Turner's, TURNERS 412 at Martha's Helping Hands.org. Hey, it will be a blessing. No gift is too large, no gift is too small. Shoes, socks, coats, money, accept it all. So that seed again, that is at Turner's, TURNERS 412 at Martha's Helping Hands.org. And don't forget, you can also sow your seed at Brothers Standing Together. Brothers Standing Together is a 501c organization. Hey, they are out here making ways for returning citizens. Those are men, women, and children that have been incarcerated that are returning to society. Sow your seed. Sow your seed to Brothers Standing Together. Listen, you can even sell a seed if you want
Yeah.
to. You
Yes.
can sell a seed. You can sell a seed to 708-717-2533 and make sure you write on there BTS, in kind donation. Okay, and if you don't have money, honey, you can give clothes, you can give shoes, you can give coats, you can give blankets, you can give tents. This is that time of year when it's cold. People need something to stay warm. Or listen, if you don't want to sow your seed that way, I'm going to put up this banner. And this is another way that you gotta make sure I got the right thing up here. You can send your seed to Brothers Standing Together, a 5013C community service organization. Like I say, we're returning citizen, incarcerated men, women, and children. You can also sow that seed. Contact info at brothersstandingtogether.com. Listen, it's a giving station. Start your giving right now. My name is Katie Lowe for Rhythm Flow Radio, right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. And I better get this music off here before somebody kill me. But my name is Katie Lowe right here, Rhythm Flow Radio live stream right here on Meta Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker. And guess what? Have a happy Friday, and we will see you next week at 5.
We
Everybody,
love you. Nothing you can do about it.
okay.
Peace.
Good
Have a
night.
good one.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye bye.